This week on First Century Foundations, I go on an underwater hunt with marine archaeologist Kurt Raveh for an ancient coin. And Karen heads to Tel Aviv to meet with Avi Mizrachi, and it's all coming up right now. Hey everybody, I'm Joe Amaral.
And I'm Karen Amaral.
Welcome to another edition of First Century Foundations. And this season we are focusing on the culture of Jesus. We're looking at things that matter to him. We're looking at things from his perspective and also from the perspective of the audience that would have heard his message. Today we're going to be focusing in on the currency of the day, specifically a denarius. There's a story in Luke where some Pharisees come and they try to trap Jesus, both in who to give the money to and who to give the proper honor to.
Well, let's take a look in Luke 20. Keeping a close watch on him, they sent spies who pretended to be sincere. They hoped to catch Jesus in something he said so that they might hand him over to the power and authority of the governor. So the spies questioned him, "Teacher, we know that you speak and teach what is right, and that you do not show partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Is it right for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not?" He saw right through their duplicity and said to them, "Show me a denarius. Whose images and inscription are on it?" "Caesar's," they replied. He said to them, "Then give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's." They were unable to trap him in what he had said there in public, and astonished by his answer, they became silent.
I love that passage. If you don't understand the importance and the significance of a denarius, you miss the power of the words. You know, we say today, you know, you got burned. Well, he burned them with his words. And later on in the program, we're going to meet with famed marine archaeologist Kurt Raveh, who has found thousands and thousands of coins, including denariuses, in the Mediterranean. And I'm going to get to snorkel with him, go on an adventure, and try to find this denarius.
Kurt, that was so much fun.
He's fun. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But we want to answer the question, what did Jesus mean when he said, give honor to Caesar?
Well, speaking of honor, we're going to see how they're honoring God at the prayer tower in Tel Aviv. I'm going to visit with Avi Mizrachi today and find out what they're doing there.
Cool. Guys, it's going to be a great show. Stay with us for the entire program. I've learned that in Israel, if you want to find anything, you've got to go to the experts. So today, I'm meeting up with marine archaeologist Kurt Raveh and Moshe Lufan, one of the brothers who discovered the Jesus boat, to see if they might be able to show me an ancient denarius. And today, we're talking about ancient coins.
Okay.
Because Jesus, as you may or may not know, in the Gospels, he talks about coins. And in one of the stories, they're trying to trap him, and they say, "Should we pay taxes to Caesar or not?" And then Jesus makes an interesting statement. He doesn't say, "Show me a shekel," but he says, "Show me a denarius," which is a very, very specific Roman coin. And so I wanted to know what one looks like. I've seen them on the internet, but I want to see one in my own hands.
Okay, so if you want to know about coins, then you got the right guy. Moshe is one of the best. I call him a metal detector. Wherever he walks around,
he is the human metal detector.
A human metal detector. Wherever we
Awesome.
walk, he finds some coins, and also the denarii is one of the most common coins. So it's
seriously, even today, you still find a lot of them.
Yeah, sure.
Where do you find them? In museums? Do you find them? Where do you find them?
No, everywhere there are tractors are digging, or after the rains on ancient sites, or it's everywhere. There were small coins. People lost them. You know, they didn't have pockets like today. But the real treasure stuff we find actually in the sea. Actually, I was one of the discoverers of the largest underwater coin treasure here on the Carmel coast here. That in one place we took out more than a ton, almost a ton and a half of ancient coins.
Coins.
And actually were a mixture of Hellenistic and Mameluke coins together from two wrecks in different times.
Okay.
The coin ships, you know, they were bringing from the place they were minted to the country of use, and they got wrecked here on the Carmel coast. So we have seen enough coins.
So you've seen lots.
Actually, if you take already a biblical verse or prose, there's written also in the Tanakh that if they talk about money, that money from the sea. Kesef minayam. Okay? So
Okay.
actually it means money from the seas. It doesn't matter that the seas bring you money, but of course the major economic contribution here of this arid region in those days was from the maritime trade and all the big ports that were along the coastline that kept the whole land in economic condition.
Okay, well,
so
listen, let me tell you something.
many of the ships wrecked. Okay, yeah, you asked me one question, but you now stuck with me for an hour. I'm always in the water, so I have no time to talk with somebody. So we got the chance. I give
Okay,
back.
so
But underwater, we from many wrecks that sunk, or what once were, say, buildings with treasure in it, and now they're underwater, near the coastline, like in Caesarea or other parts of land that became sea. We have like little wells of coins, where over the years, every time we come back there, and we kind of wave the sand like this, the coins are coming out like in a well, one after the other.
that would be incredible
okay?
to see.
So there are many places like this, also here in front of our own place. So we can show that if you like to. And,
Well, that was what I
hope we
wanted to
find
say.
the right
is
ones that you like.
I'm not looking for a ton of coins, although that would be very nice to find a ton, but I would be happy with one.
Well,
what do you
listen,
Echad, one.
legally it's not even allowed to
No, but
look
just to
for,
find it, we
so-
can put it
but,
back.
We can show you as
Can.
archaeologists to how,
Yes.
how it goes, okay? We just put it back later. But the thing is,
Okay.
you can see how easy it is and how
Is it far?
exciting it is. It's a few hundred meters from here. It's the closest place that we know about, okay?
So can we still dive today?
Yeah, we can
Yeah?
arrange that in
When?
about in half an hour if you
Yeah?
like. Yeah.
So what do I got to do?
Well, you need, first of all, the water is still cold, okay? It's
I'm from
springtime.
Canada. I'm used to cold water and by it.
Yeah,
No problem.
Okay,
No?
I'm from Holland, but it's still cold.
It's still cold.
Okay, so we get some wetsuits
Okay.
and minimum equipment. We don't go really diving because it's really shallow water.
Okay.
And the 3-4 of us, we just try to find something. Okay.
That would be awesome. So lead the
Alright.
way. I'll follow you to the dive shop, and we're gonna go looking for coins.
All right.
Once we got into the dive shop, Kurt showed me proof of just how many coins you could possibly find.
You ask about the coin in the sea.
Have you
Look
ever
at
found
this.
them? Yeah.
Yeah, if we ever found one, look, this is only one bag.
That's a
Of dozens of bags we took out. You know, it's they're all like palm fiber baskets full with coins. Tens of thousands of coins in one bag like this. This treasure was more than a ton of ancient coins.
What would the
And only
value
in 3 meters of water, 20 meters of shore. So it's
Oh
not
my
a big
goodness.
thing.
What would the value
Discover.
of something like this be?
Uh,
Or is it incalculable?
But many of the coins here, they're never found before.
Oh.
And it also depends, you know, which year, which type, how many of them want. And here they're all for scientific purposes. They went all to the government,
Yeah.
so they belong to the state. But you can't sell them. They won't be on the black market or whatever. But of course, there are sometimes one coin is worth financially more than a ton of them.
Yeah,
It's,
sure.
It's a collector's value, a thing like that.
That's awesome. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing.
it just shows that treasure is everywhere. But treasure is trouble.
Well, before I can get into trouble, I gotta get into this wetsuit. This is not making it to television.
Oh no.
Yalla, you guys ready?
Yeah,
Let's change the world.
it's okay.
Okay, so what do I do?
You get into the water. There's
can
a
do
certain
that.
point where it's like a well, you know, these coins are always all around. And we just try to find some.
Okay.
In the end, we'll have to leave them there, you know, because it's forbidden to take
course,
antiquities out
yeah.
of the sea, and this is not an original expedition or
It'll just
scientific.
be fun to see
But
them.
we just show you how
Absolutely.
easy it is to find these things, and that they're out there. And
Okay.
we just leave them in the place where we.
Okay, now there's no sharks here, right? Say no. Say no.
Hope so.
All right, good. Let's go. Coming up, Karen visits with Avi Mizrachi at the prayer tower in Tel Aviv, and later, Kurt, Moshe, and I snorkel for coins. Don't go away.
For 2,000 years, man has been studying the life and words of Jesus. But in our modern culture, can we truly understand what he really meant? Now we can. Joe Amaral's book, Understanding Jesus, removes the veil of history and brings us greater understanding of the time and culture that Jesus and the authors of the Bible lived in. In Understanding Jesus, we study the feasts of the Lord as Jesus celebrated them and find valuable insight into God's prophetic timetable throughout history. Knowing more about this ancient culture will give you accurate insight into the teachings of Jesus and will take your faith to a whole new level. And this life-changing book can be yours for just $20. Call today and order your copy of Understanding Jesus by Joe Amaral, 1-877-628-2800, or visit us online at www.firstcenturyfoundations.com.
We're here in Tel Aviv with Avi Mizrachi, who is the leader of Dugit, and we'd just like to know from you, what is your vision for the prayer tower and how it began and what God put in you to start it here?
Yeah. Well, we started the VIP prayer tower here in Tel Aviv in 2011. And this was a total miracle. The year before, I was invited to a conference, a prayer conference in Seoul, Korea. So me and another pastor, we shared about Israel. And what really impressed me is early morning prayer in Korea. I've never seen it anywhere in the world, when the pastor asked everybody to come every morning at 5 o'clock and pray, and they all showed up with their children.
Wow.
And here they were praying, worshiping. It was all in Korean, they understand one word. But it really touched me to see the commitment to prayer that really changed Seoul, Korea.
Wow.
And after the prayer, I went to my room and I just took my quiet time before the Lord, pour out my heart. And one of the things is that as a pastor of the congregation, Adonai, the Lord is my shepherd. I started in 96, and we have, I would say, for the last 15 years, we have been moving around, renting different places, halls and hotels and things like that. And I was saying, Lord, I'm so tired moving. I want to see a place for our own congregation. And as I was crying to the Lord with this issue and a big burden in my heart, then the Lord speaks to me out of the blue and speaks to me, said, Avi, I want you to build me an altar of prayer and worship for the city Tel Aviv, Yafo.
Wow. And
it was so clear, and I knew this is what God is commanding me to do. And I said, yes, Lord. As soon as I go back, I was there just for a few days. As soon as I go back, I'm going to look for a place to build you an altar of prayer and worship, intercession for breakthrough for our city, Tel Aviv, Jaffa. So I came back, and for months and months, I've seen many places. And then the Lord led me to this building, which is an interesting building. It has many floors. And on the 12th floor, there was some space available for rent. So when I saw it, I was excited because the Lord told me this is the place. Now, when I called the landlord, he said, no, it's already, we are negotiating with somebody else is interested. Real estate in Tel Aviv is very, very high, like New York City. And it was like mission impossible. So I prayed, I said, Lord, you spoke to me and I'm just going to trust you. So I called the landlord again and he said, call me tomorrow. I'll let you know if we don't sign the contract tomorrow and I'll call you. If not, then it's gone. So I waited the whole day, and the next day he hasn't called me. So I said, okay, Lord, then we must have something else. So then I went to the States for 10 days to speak, and to make a long story short, I come back and he leaves me 2 messages. And when I called him, he said, where are you? I've been looking for you. I said, well, you didn't call. Well, we were supposed to sign. The guy, the last moment, did not sign. If you want it, it's yours because I give you my word. But if you don't want it, other people already want it. But I kept your word to you. And I said, I want it. So I met him, and it was a miracle. We were able to sign the contract to rent it. We cleaned this place, and when we dedicated it in January 2011, the Lord spoke to me to invite all the pastors. And they all came here and they asked, what's the agenda? I said, there's no agenda. I'm just obedient to what God told us to open a house of prayer, prayer tower in Tel Aviv on the 12th floor, to pray for breakthrough for our city, Tel Aviv, Yafo. Tel Aviv, Yafo is a very secular city, and the harvest is ready. And we need breakthrough. We need intercessors to stand with us in such a time as this, to pray with us for breakthrough, because I believe the harvest is ready. We don't have enough laborers. We don't have enough people to stand with us and pray with us. And that's the reason God led us to open this place. And we have different watches from different congregations, different
How many
people.
people would you say come every week?
Well, it's hard to say. I would say we have about 5 different watches from different.
Okay.
And I gave a key to every pastor in this in the city of Tel Aviv, so they can come. They probably even come when I don't know. They come here and pray.
Yeah.
And we have dedicated this whole room for one thing, for prayer intercession, to pray for this city,
Yeah.
the city of Tel Aviv. That's where the harvest is, and I'm excited because I believe this is harvest time.
For sure, for sure. Well, Avi, thank you so much for sharing with us. And if you'd like to learn more about this ministry and other ministries that we support, visit our website at www.firstcenturyfoundations.com to learn more. And you can click on our ministries page and find out some more about Avi Mizrachi. Avi, thank you so much for speaking with us. This is wonderful, and we're so excited with you about what God is doing here.
Amen.
To make a donation or learn more about this ministry and the Israel Prayer Watch, visit us online at www.firstcenturyfoundations.com or call 1-877-628-2800.
Although we're in the Mediterranean Sea, it was a little colder than I expected. Squeezing into the wetsuit wasn't such a bad idea after all. So many shipwrecks have gone down here in this area, and after thousands of years, people like Kurt are still finding amazing artifacts just under the silt of the shallow water. And especially after a storm has gone through and stirred up the bottom, it's just another reason why Israel is such an amazing place. We seemed to be out in the water for a while, and then of course, Moshe found something. Wow! Mazay, what's this? What is it? Get aside. Denarius?
Yeah, Denarius.
Sababa.
That's what you wanted?
That's what we wanted. How old would this be? A coin like this?
It's 2000.
2,000 years old.
211
I don't know if you can see this, guys. Hard to believe, but we actually found a coin. You know, this is one of those things where, you know, as a Christian, as a pastor, as a teacher, I read the Bible all the time. I travel everywhere, teach the Bible. I talk about Denarius, and now to be able to actually hold one in my hand, you know, it's a whole new level of reality. Now, whose image is on this coin? Do you guys know?
We had no time to check it out yet. We just
Okay.
put it in the water.
Well, basically, whose images will be placed on coins that were minted by the Romans?
Of course, the emperor of that period.
The Caesars.
The Caesars.
Okay.
And of course, that's changes so many times. You know, every
Right.
11 years or so, you have another one. So that's why they have many different types of coins like this for several hundreds of years. They change all the time. It's not you have one dinar and they're all
Right.
the same.
Okay, so we may not know
changing all the
exactly which Caesar, but
No.
it's a Caesar.
Once we got our glasses on and we have got the books with us, we know exactly which. It's all written around it.
Right.
Emperor, this and that and that.
Yeah, it's a
okay?
nice one.
And then usually it's more. It's even nicer the other side of it, which can be everything from horse races to gladiators or any
Yeah, it's hard to
symbols
see.
that are. This one is exceptional clean.
Yes.
It's probably because it's here in the wash of the sea, and the sand kept it clean.
Keeps
You
it.
know, usually the silver get really black. So this probably has been in the surf for a long time.
Okay. Now listen, let me take this back to the first century for a second. Even though they were in circulation, they were very common. The Jews were not supposed to carry coins that had the image of a man, because that was against the Torah.
Yes, that's another.
Right? I mean, even animals weren't supposed to be, but human images, that was a no-no. So, remember, there was a story when Jesus catches the Pharisees, when they say to him, should we pay taxes to Caesar? And he says, show me a denarius, whose image is on the coin. And when he says that, they're carrying something they're not supposed to be carrying.
Now,
So-
if we talk about the Jews already in that
Yeah.
period, just think of it that they first of all had to pay taxes to Rome.
Yes?
Then they had to pay taxes to the temple.
Yes.
and they had to pay taxes to their own communities and Herod, and so they were actually double taxed 3 times.
Oh my goodness!
So it was a very hard period, like today.
Guys, thanks so much, man. It was so much fun.
All right.
I mean, diving.
But you see, it's the thrill of the discovery.
Absolutely. It's
not the coin itself, the coin we throw back in the sea.
Yes.
We're not allowed even to take them out. But the thrill of the discovery, that's it. It connects you straight away to the past. It becomes like...
Well, I'm happy about 2 things. Number 1, I'm happy we found the coin. And number 2, I'm happy no sharks came around.
We got enough blood for it.
You and me.
We gave blood for it.
Well, listen, let's give this guy a right send-off. Let's put him back where he belongs.
There he goes. 1, 2, 3. Goodbye to you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
What Would Jesus Read? The daily devotional book by Joe Amaral. Since the destruction of the first temple nearly 3,000 years ago, the Jewish people have used a system of reading weekly portions of the Bible in an effort to preserve the Scriptures. This same system was in place during the time of Jesus. And now, with this daily devotional book by Joe Amaral, you can follow and practice the very same devotional system that Jesus used. This book is designed to help you read the Bible daily with a first-century mind, bringing you greater insight into the mind of our Lord as you read what He read. Call the number on your screen now for your very own copy of What Would Jesus Read for just $25. 1-877-628-2800 or order online at www.firstcenturyfoundations.com. What Would Jesus Read by Joe Amaral. We're waiting to hear from you. Call today.
Man, that was such an exciting adventure for me to be able to go snorkeling in the Mediterranean looking for a coin and then finding a coin. It was really cool. But I gotta tell you, I watched Jaws as a kid like years ago, and every time I stick my head under the water, I hear that crazy the Jaws theme. But I controlled my fears, I stuck my head in there, and we found the coin.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because being able to hold the denarius, in my hand, it just connected me to that story that you read at the top of the show in Luke chapter 20, I believe it was, about Jesus, being questioned about by the Pharisees about this coin. And when I first became a Christian, and we've talked about this lots of times, and you've traveled with me when I go to churches, and I never fully understood why it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
Because they came to him, right, and they said...
It always seems so odd that, they turn away and his answer silenced them. I thought, well, how did that silence them altogether?
Yeah, well, what did he say that was so powerful? If you don't understand what a denarius is, well, let me ask you, can you show me a shekel? Show me a coin from this country, okay?
Yeah.
She has a coin here. Now, she didn't say anything to me. You didn't say, yes, I have it, or no, I don't. The fact that you handed one to me proved that you had one. That's it.
Right.
So same thing, roll it back 2,000 years ago. Jesus is there, he's being accused, and they say, should we pay taxes to Caesar or not? And it's a lose-lose situation.
Right.
Okay, if he says, yes, pay taxes to Caesar, aha, you're pro-Roman, you're against the Jews.
Right.
He's in trouble. If he says, no, don't pay tax, aha, you're against Rome, you're for the Jews.
Right.
It's a lose-lose, there's no way he can win. But then he comes up with this genius response, and he says, show me a denarius. And Luke is a Gentile. He's the only Gentile author in the New Testament, in the Bible for that matter. And he focuses and he hones in on the fact that it's a denarius.
Yeah.
Why didn't he ask for a shekel? That was the common coin. I'm not going to ask you for a denarius. I'm going to ask you for a shekel. That's the currency of this country. But because he asked for a denarius and he says, whose image and inscription is on the coin, that's the key. Because in the Torah, it says you're not allowed what?
To have an image.
You're not allowed to carry anything that has the image of a man. So the second they pulled out the denarius, they were saying, yes, we are breaking God's law, as a matter of fact. We are holding a graven image in our hands. And he says, whose image is on the coin? Say it.
Caesar.
I'm sorry, what was that? Caesar. He wants to hear it. And he says, you know what? Caesar is sitting in Rome right now claiming to be God. He declares himself to be a god. So you're carrying his currency? I tell you what, why don't you give tithes to your God? I'll give tithes to my God, the God of Israel, and let's call it a day. Man, you talk about burn. They got burned that day. They took their money back, it silenced them, and they walked away.
Yeah.
That's one of the stories that if you don't know the Hebraic background, you don't get the full scoop. Now, we've talked about this before, but would you say that learning about our Hebraic roots has kind of affected our family a little bit?
Definitely. It has really touched in so many areas of our lives. And it's been interesting to note and see how the knowledge and having all that background and knowing the stories that were going on behind the stories really, you know, affect how you look at the biblical verse there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so cool in our family, even the way we pray, how in Judaism, you don't bless the food, but you bless the giver, of the one who gave the food.
Right.
And it's so cute to watch in our teenage kids. They don't say, God bless this pizza.
Yeah.
They say, Lord, we bless you for providing this pizza. And it's really cool how the Hebraic roots really impact your life. And for us as a family, it's really brought us closer to the Lord. And hey, talk about, you know, being brought closer to the Lord. You had a wonderful encounter with Avi Mizrachi where they caught the vision to establish this press run in Tel Aviv.
Well, it's so neat because more and more we're seeing all across the land is that prayer ministries are being raised up. And there is such a need for prayer. And I mean, that's one of the main focuses of our ministry, is to pray for the ministries in Israel.
Yeah.
And it was so neat to see that, like an altar of prayer.
Yeah, I think Avi mentioned that.
he
That was,
did.
God told him to establish an altar in the city.
Yeah. And it's so neat to see that that's being raised up all around the country here, and people are being able to come and present their prayer requests. They're being able to come and pray and minister before the Lord. It's a wonderful thing that they can do there.
Yeah, and it's awesome for us to be able to assist them. You know, I've said this before, that I was so bummed when God didn't call us to live in the land. Because I really wanted to live in Israel, and I felt that, you know, I guess I was wanting to do it, but, you know, the more we prayed about it and talked about it, we felt that no, God didn't call us to live in the land, but he called us to help those who are living in the
someone
land.
had even said to you, you're more effective where you are to be able to help us here in the land.
Yeah. It's a privilege. And guys, we want to encourage you to help us to bless those who are ministering, who are reaching out here in Israel. You can visit the website, you can call the toll-free number, you can follow both Karen and I on Twitter, on Facebook. There's all kinds of ways to get a hold of us. But the bottom line is, stay in touch with us, find out how you can make a difference here in this land. And as always, our heart is to help you and equip you to learn more about the Jewish foundations of the Christian faith, to help you to better understand Jesus. Guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
And I'll follow you. Yeah. Okay, stick yourself right in there.
Speaking of honor, don't do that face.
It's the face God gave me.
Oh, you're stuck with it.
Oh, you guys are funny.
Dig it.